Eat.
Look, this is just an informal chat. We were wondering what you were working on in your lab.
Well, I've invented a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Right, and what's positive about that?
Well, it's a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, could it also give worms to ex-boyfriends?
This is a drug for the world to give worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, great. Thanks for stopping by.
You just don't get it here.
At last, the greatest album of love songs ever recorded. You'll want to share them with someone special.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Sung by the man who turned a personal affliction into a recording career, Don No Soul Simmons.
Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. She'd been sitting there and
So curl up by the fireside and listen to the non-threatening music of this master showman.
And honey, I miss you. And I'm being good. And I'd love to be with you. If only I could. Say, has anybody seen my sweet gypsy rose? Here's her picture when she was my sweet man.
Young lovers of any age will cherish this timeless collection of the world's most romantic ballads. And if you act now, you'll get free this bonus album, Don Simmons, Down and Funky.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. Never understood a single word he said.
This two-record collection is not available in any stores, so order now.
Yes, he always had some mighty fine wine.
Throw out your hands, stick out your tush, hands on your hips, give 'em a push. You'll be surprised you're doing the French mistake. Voila!
Shit. Have you got it?
Yes.
Sounds like steam escaping.
Bless him, brought me into the business. This was his dental practice before, and I joke with my wife that at that point, that's when the money started rolling in. Brave, making more wampum to buy pelts. One happy squaw in wigwam, happy as mongoose. That is, of course, from Johnny Carson, who one of my heroes in a very funny bit.
Well, haven't you anything to say? Anything? Out of sheer honesty? Well,
Yes, I would just love a duck dinner.
People don't like Globochem and its 2023 different products.
The perception is that this company is a monster.
A beast.
A cold, heartless, smelly behemoth.
Run by a greedy,
fat-headed fatty pants.
a fatso. Who do you think you are? This company cares. We were in the people business when you were in short pants. My great-great-great-grandfather started this company with one single rickety, leaky, handcrafted slave ship and a simple motto: people selling people to people. So don't tell me that I'm fat!
This is where he every day I'm wearing a necklace like this, and he's in this urn.
Is his ashes?
Yeah, his ashes right here and here. Yep. So both of my grandpas are here.
What's that other thing on the necklace?
It's a Punisher emblem.
What's that about?
I like the Punisher just because he's he takes his the law into his own hands to punish the people that wronged him.
I've got to start at the bottom and do as well as I possibly can the most meaningless, insignificant, mindless acts. Like my job, for instance. Boss, how much does a good cab driver make in a night?
$150.
What was my best night?
You once broke $12.
Boss, I want to drive again. I want to go right back out there on those streets and drive another shift. A perfect shift. I want to be a perfect cab driver. I want to be perfect.
Well, you're on the right track. You've already made a perfect ass of yourself.
All right!
Here's John Wayne at a party where he was honored after receiving his Best Actor Oscar for Rooster Cogburn. Oh, look, at the same party, it's America's eternal teenager, Dick Clark. Hey, Dick. So that's your secret.
Do you have any superpowers? Like, were you bit by a radioactive bug or anything?
Well, I do have lupus, fibromyalgia, and restless leg syndrome.
Maybe we can work with the restless legs.
You're my rival, okay? The only reason you're here is so that my hatred of you can fuel my desire to beat you, okay? So I need you staying in the game.
Okay, then I'm gonna beat you, you skank.
Yes, that is the spirit. The only way to beat men is by competing against other women.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then it's full of them. We're gonna start with high shots. Just watch this chorus
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents, the 149th consecutive Tuesday. We come to you live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on the West Coast. We're here to talk about comics. Get your papers out, get your pencils out. You might make some mistakes. You might learn something today. Actually, there's nothing to talk about. Maybe just some comics that come out tomorrow. The conceit of the show is that I'm talking to my customers and anybody else who would listen. It makes me feel better about the show. If I don't get good ratings, I might get canceled. And we don't want that to happen. I actually own a comic book store. So Fantastic Comics isn't just a show, it's also a store. Come on in Wednesday through Sunday. I'm the only one working, really. The only person to come in and see every 12 to 5 p.m. Or 12 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday and through Sunday. We do all sorts of stuff comic book wise, and there's some interesting things that are coming out this week. Definitely want to pay attention to it. We'll get on that in just a moment, but first, we like to start the show with a video. Get this out of the way right now. There's a new champion in NXT. What? I don't want to spoil it, and it probably already just that amount, kind of spoils it. Sorry. I guess that's a jerk move. Didn't mean to, but I guess that's the way it is. Also, William Regal re-signed with the WWE. I guess he starts in January of next year. Great. Get him all the way for Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. Put some heat on some important people and get them trained up. Should be great. Sasha Banks trademarked her real name, I think it is, Mercedes Venaro. And that's the last time we're going to call her that. She's going to be performing at Wrestle Kingdom in Japan. She loves Japanese stuff. So she's a perfect fit over there. And supposedly she's getting paid more than Jericho. And he makes $100,000 a show. So wow, amazing. Get that bag. But when she asked to get more money than the highest paid woman in WWE, they said no. And now she's going out on her own. She's going to be on a card in Japan. It has a WWE wrestler in Shinsuke Nakamura. It's going to have an AEW wrestler. I imagine it's Jericho. It's going to have Sasha Banks. That's pretty wild. Quite a show that should be. I just don't think I see her as the greatest thing ever. I think she is a star, but she's not the star. And if she has to carry things at another company, I don't know. And lastly, I guess there was an angle on Raw last night where Riddle got injured. Supposedly he's taking a substance that's banned, and it ain't marijuana because they don't test for that. So whatever is going on with Riddle, I think he's a great performer. I think he has a lot of potential. He might have to change his look a bit, maybe some of his characteristics, but he's a great worker. And it would be a shame to see him, well, whatever. He's a jerk. And with that, that's your Wrestling Minute. There you go. Let me get that picture down. Try and get it all done. All right, everybody. That's me, Yule, right there. That's how you spell my name. I know a lot of people don't get it right. I forgive them. I've had it that way all my life. They expect a certain thing. It's funny because like all the other ways to spell Yule are things that are ancient. And with everything that people forget or care about, that stuff still propagates. What's up with that? What's up with that? I mean, seriously. Anyway, I'd like to say this to everybody that is here watching the show live.
We didn't come to borrow any money. We didn't come to borrow any dough. We didn't come to borrow any trouble. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh, hello to you, Mr. Penny. Please don't think that we are hammy. We just stopped in from Alabama. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh boy, you said it. We just stopped in to say hello. And don't forget it. We just stopped in to say hello. And I'm hello. Hello. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone. There you go. Hi, how's it going? That's me, Yule. First up, early as always, Fantinuum. Nothing like the end of the year laziness at companies where everyone is just checking out. Fantinuum tells me some very interesting stories about real work. Wow. I mean, I really bust my ass for y'all at the comic store. And there's almost like, let's be real about it. There's no financial gain as of yet. Partially because of me. You get your stuff, you get into a situation, you're trying to work yourself out. You work yourself out, things are good. It takes a while though. But then how many Fantinuum has been saying that these people they get off, like, they have days they get to work at home anyway, but they don't have to come in during these holiday weeks. I'd worry about my job if I wasn't being told I was needed to come in. Doc Post-a-Lot is here live. Wow. In the house today. That's cool. Jilby Pill's in the other room and also has to say that she loves the Dick Clark fart. And I agree. It's great. Elithador is here. Hey. How's it going? And yes, I agree. We all love Don No Soul Simmons. You can't spoil AEW results. They barely pull a larger audience than wouldn't that they get quite a big number, and then sometimes they really pop it, but poor AEW. I shouldn't even say that. It's not poor. I mean, are they gonna really pick up Sasha, who I can't even call her Sasha if she's on the show? And if she's like asking for the most, I mean, I can't even imagine what they're paying the women, but I know that Becky and Charlotte, and I'm assuming Ronda Rousey, are getting quite a bit of money. And probably right behind that is Bayley. One of those ladies is making $1 million. And we know that Becky has like the really great agent, and I can't remember who got her on that gig. Probably Seth Rollins, but I think it was somebody else. And they've done like really well for her. So Sasha just wants to get paid, and I understand, but she's not the worker and the talker that all the other ones that are better than her are. And then there's Ronda Rousey. You guys are talking about boobs in wrestling, or maybe even other stuff. I mean, all the pecs. UL, the last son of Comicdom. I like that. I'll take that. I like UL. Yeah, exactly. If you have anything you want to ask me later on, just put it in the chat. Maybe I'll actually see it. We're going to talk about all sorts of things going on. The Miles Morales trailer dropped, and I've got clips of that. And I think we should talk about it because I think kind of like the conversation that's going on in comics, it's not really an argument, but it kind of is. It feels like some people are poking the bear, and, the bear doesn't like that. There's a lot of things that the bear doesn't like in comics these days. But, the bear is probably old and that getting a little mangy. Change is always difficult. Especially when you're talking about characters that have been around for like 90 years. Luthador says Tony's greatest skill is overpaying for wrestlers and then not using them. Also paying for announcers. Supposedly Big Show and Mark Henry got paid $1 million. If all the argument that those guys came in were that they were great big men that could actually teach the talent how to work, because they're all indie folk. And if you hear, although I hear that the EC3, I heard that the EC3 stuff is bullshit. I don't know how you say that, but there's at least another person saying no, this did not happen. Probably William Regal. But you know how it gets out, or it doesn't even really get out, and people make it up. But I took EC3's comments with a grain of salt, but he actually put his face to it when he was saying it. That William Regal said these fools don't want to listen to anything, and that he regretted being at AEW pretty much since day one. I believe William Regal regretted AEW being his choice when Vince McMahon was gone. Because Vince McMahon's gone, William Regal's out clause has become a reality, and now he's going to be a WWE dude who can't be on television for a year, supposedly. So everybody that are like Tony Khan, he lets or Vince McMahon holds people back 90 days after he releases them, fires them. He's always firing people. And I mean, I have this annoyance with Jill. I mean, I support people that are jerks sometimes. If funny enough, it seems that everybody in charge is pretty much jerks. I support myself. No, I don't. You do, Jill. So, let's be real about it. And there you go. That's the day. All right. Excellent. To everybody that is here after the fact, thank you for tuning in. I hope that this is enjoyable and that I didn't piss Jill off just now. All right, what are we going to talk about? Let's see. We got an unboxing to do right now. I didn't make a thing for it. So these came from my customer who might be in chat right now or might be watching it later. I guess I had the privilege of pressing a few of these books, and one of them is actually a 9.8. And you know what? We should talk about. There you go. There's the approval. Thank you, Jill. That was important. I don't want to be all Howard Stern here or anything. Pretty tame, if that's what. Anyway, so I actually opened the box already. And I can't even remember, but I mean, this guy brings a lot of comics for me to press. Not all the time, but he sends a lot of books out to CGC, and he likes to buy my ratty replacements. I obviously can't read them once you slab them. But anyway, he's got quite a cool collection. You know exactly what kind of comics he likes, and we're going to see a bunch of them right now. And like I said, a few of them I've pressed. On the subject of pressing, I have been undertaking a mission of sorts to press a bunch of this dude's stuff that he sends out to CGC. He sends out multiple copies of books, gets them, when they're doing the signings and stuff like that. And so I'm sure he pays a lot, but he's on the, he's on the ends with the CGC people. So, he has an express route, but he even has to pay attention to certain criteria. So he's been giving me books to clean and press. He knows the drill. I don't take stickers off. It's a light cleaning. I don't go in too hard. I don't feel comfortable about bleaching pages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't charge a lot of money. And then I press the comics. Depending on the process, I can get like 4 to 6 done in a day if I'm really on it, and I'm not always really on it. But that's what I've been doing recently. And he came back and let me know that a bunch of the books that he sent out were 9.8s. All right. Now, a lot of them were in very good condition. And I don't mean very good like the grade. I mean, very passable for 95% of collectors. So much so that they wouldn't care that it was in a plastic bag, a box, CGC graded. But again, I don't charge a lot, and also I don't think I ruin the comic books in the very least. A lot of times the pressing will really bring out the luster in the color of the comic cover, and bring a rigidity of sorts to the comic book and make it look a little bit better, flatter. And then when you're doing the 60s comics, 70s comics, the older ones, getting a light cleaning alone is amazing. And then the wrinkles can come out a bit, and you can just make the comic look a lot better. And then I also had a customer in on Sunday who was working or was buying some back issues. And when he had come in previously, he said that a lot of the ones that he bought for me were high graded. So I'm assuming he got them slabbed, which is, sad. But if you're a collector out there, you can give me a call. I'd rather a Twitter and Fantastic Comics. Yeah, we put that up. Twitter. You can get me on Instagram. Fantastic Comics. Sometimes I answer Facebook. It just, that one's Facebook, you know what I mean? Just too many things. When everybody was going to move to Hive and all these other platforms, Mastodon or whatever, because of Twitter being a cesspool now all of a sudden. Ever since I've been on it, it's always described as a cesspool. Now it's more of a cesspool. Oh, but it was my cesspool. I agree. And then they let the Tumblr fools in. Oh yeah, and I put a PayPal. If you're like, oh man, I want to drop a coin in the bucket, you can. It's Jeffrey was the manager, my brother. I'll change that someday. But we have a Patreon. That's where you put money in for very little. From us, very little. Even if you give a lot, very little. We also have a Substack account. That's where you can get all the funny emails that we send out. There's a lot of people that see that. If they're not all constant shoppers, but if they were Patreon members, just $3.99 is a comic book. If I saw $3.99 from all the Substack people, I'd be a happy boy. So yeah, remember that. I'm gonna make a $3.99. I'll make it also an annual subscription. We got to get going on that, but go to Substack. We give it. That's the free stuff. But your money makes the show happen. Your money makes the store go around. I've used it. It's kind of tight right now, and it's like scary that it might get tighter. I'm not an economist. That's why I work in comic books. You notice that all the people that have problems in comics don't know shit about math either. First book up is a 9.8. I don't think I pressed this one. Ghost Rider, 31. Yeah, everybody loves comic book porn, right? That's great. Who does this? This is Howard Mackey, Andy, and Joe Kubert on the cover. All right, this is a 9.6. And it also is a Ghost Rider 31. What I'm assuming, get both of them pressed, see which one's the best, and then sell the other one eventually. I hope. 9.6. I forget. Maybe this was it. I don't know. I've pressed a few of these for people. Yeah, that's a good one. Tom McFarlane Spider-Man. If you're gonna sell that stuff, you should press it probably. I'm a fool. In my store, I'm really against it. I mean, there's going to be a time when I have something pressed. You can only be a fool for so long. But I really don't love CGC. I don't think it's flawless. I got a comic in from an auction. It was exactly what I didn't see it originally, but even still, I don't agree with the grade. If I saw it, I would be like, no, that's not the grade it's purporting to be. So I've talked to a lot of people, and most people agree with me that this is not the grade it should be. But it's CGC, and if I broke it out and sent it in, it'd probably give me a lesser grade. But I bought it. Oops, I hope I'm still talking to you. Excellent. Looks like I am. Let me just make sure. Yes, I am. Excellent. All right, this is a 9.6. Ooh. Daredevil 181. Bullseye versus Elektra. One wins, one dies. You know what? They're both alive now. I've, in past episodes, talked about that issue. I think I talked about it with ATN, maybe on the previous show that I used to do. Whatever. It's unimportant. It's just a comic I read all my life, and one that's like, I saw somebody tweet about it today, and I agree. It's probably one of the most important comics I personally have ever read. 4.5. Oh, I did press this one. There was nothing we could do for it. There's all sorts of reasons for it being the way it is, but it's a sharper looking book. All right, here's a 9.2. First appearance of Carnage. 361. Who doesn't have that, really? Although I've sold a lot at the store. And again, they're not slabbed. So, a lot of times I don't sell them at slab prices. And, there's no expectation that I need to make that extra $60 or maybe even more. Sometimes I realize, again, I should start taping people when they applaud me for the grading and stuff like that. Just for, for a good commercial. Daredevil 178. Oh, I think this is the one. The 9.8. I think this is the one he told me about. Or that I did. It's hard to remember. Like, I have this one customer, he brings in like ECs. All right, this last one. Oh no, I pressed this one. I know that. Avengers Annual number 10, 9.4. It's tricky. I don't know if you can see it. It's a much thicker comic book than the other ones. And, it's not really that much trickier to do a thicker one. But if you want to get more comic books done, you want to do like 2 at a time. So you have to find something. Because if you press down too hard, you'll really mess the books up. And you don't want to do that. So you need to get stuff of like, same size when you're putting them in if you're going to do that. Or you just waste the time and do the book. So anyway, I do a cleaning. I do a cleaning and pressing service. I won't ruin your book. How's that? And with that, my commercial is done. Makes it look better, flatter. Seems like one of the few things where dudes think flatter is better. But Jill's on the boobs thing still. I don't know who she's talking to when she's doing that. All right, excellent. Let's talk about what are we going to do? Let's see. Let me go back to the unboxing reviews. We're going to do reviews within the new comic book day. We did the wrestling minute, and then we can talk about a little bit of an argument about Miles Morales. His we'll get into it in just a little bit. It's just a little conversation. Come on into the store. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments after the fact, to all those listening after the fact, what you think. And to anybody, let me know in the chat. I will bring up an argument, if you will. I will bring up an argument that I hear people making. And usually I'll just kind of half-ass some sort of answer as to what I think about it, because I really haven't. But it sounds something that's something I might be able to bring a conversation out as far as it's concerned. Because I think it applies. It applies to every person that comes in here that actually talks to me. Us. I mean, there's something that is we'll get into it. There's always someone poking the bear, remember? That's what I'm talking about. All right, let me stop this because I'm going to be showing some comic books. Let me get the banner up for new comic book day. And let me remind you that hit the subscribe if you haven't. Let people know that we exist. I don't know why, but I think I want to get over 1,000. I'm going to start doing stuff to make that happen. Nonetheless. Oh, yeah, we already did that enough. I hate begging. Okay, here's some channels I like. Go visit Rick Worley. He's my buddy. He's a big Spider-Man fan, big Star Wars fan, Lucas at least. And he's a smart feller that likes to talk about things that people are either uncomfortable or very opinionated about. And they're very well thought out with lots of pictures and a lot of he elucidates very well, way better than I do. Excuse me. Should I put a little music on in the background? How about feeding the ducks with be able to like screw around with the music also. Just barely. All right. We got some pictures here. Let me tell you, Fantinuum. 2 weeks in a row, I forgot to give you something. Punched in the nuts. No, comic books. Some Magic comics and some Noctera, I do believe. So on top of everything that is coming in, there's also those for you. Check this out, though. First up, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 15. This is a the next part in the Dark Web series. Dark Web tries to make us care about Spider-Man and the X-Men in the same fight. They are doing that with clones of characters that both people love, or both teams, if you will. Spider-Man is a team unto himself, and who does he love that's a clone? Well, I guess not really love, but Ben Reilly. He loves himself, and Ben Reilly's a clone of him. I'm assuming, because right now nobody loves Spidey, except for maybe Black Cat. A lot of stuff's going on right now, but Ben Reilly is hanging out with Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen. She's been in charge of Limbo, I guess. I really haven't been reading a whole lot of the X-Men books, but Ileana, for some reason, gave it to her. I guess in the spirit of Krakoa, it seemed like it was a good thing to do. I'm not really looking forward to reading too much extra X-Men. I only read the main title. But I am a Spider-Man guy. And you know what? If I have to relive a story that's kind of reminiscent of the past, it might as well be Inferno. Zeb Wells is writing funny in this, but not overly funny. Except for maybe Venom, who's all back into his he wants to eat brains days. Ed McGuinness is doing the illustrations for this one, and it looks really, really good. You got to remember, Ed McGuinness, when he did Superman, did really super extra roided up people. And if you would have told me that he was doing Spider-Man, I would have thought that would have been a very, very bad match. But I think he does a really good job. Pete looks strong and agile. And maybe like JR Jr.'s Venom kind of sucks here. If I have to be harsh on the book. But I like the cover too. Next, so that was a review also. There you go. No spoilers. See, I didn't do any spoilers. That's how you do a review. Unfortunately, if you don't spoil or show a shit ton of stuff, you can't do a real big video on it. Here's a book I didn't read. I went into Talking Soul, who's not here right now, I think. Let me check chat really quick. Argument? Am I having an argument with you, Battle Buddy? Maybe about like multiple slabs, but maybe that's it. That Venom on the cover looks awful. Elithader agrees. Hero Fall, solid review. Oh, thank you, Hero Fall. Man, you got to know Hero Fall, because if you do, you have a person that's very positive in your life, and you can overlook that sometimes. So, thank you very much, Hero Fall. Get your hand on my dick now. Batman Spawn comes out tomorrow. There's going to be a ton of covers, including another Capullo one. He does the art on the inside. Tom McFarlane does the writing. Like I said, a ton of covers. One of them's Glow in the Dark. One of them's Jim Lee. One of them's Acetate. And who doesn't love an Acetate cover, as long as it's not some other store putting them on after fact. That's a Fabric cover. Look at that, Jason Fabric. Where's that guy been? He's good. And obviously a Jim Lee clone. Do you think so? There's Jim Lee, and there's Fabric. I think Jim Lee, as far as like the layout of the cover, phoned it in. I don't think his art is phoned in necessarily, but that's the 3/4 assed, and I think Fabric. I mean, it's just two dudes kneeling in the rain, but yeah, maybe I would have. Well, he's in the forefront, so Batman's in the forefront, but Spawn being over him. I don't know. DC should be that's a little problematic. Glow in the dark for me, please. I gotta turn off the lights when I do that, and it's gonna be daytime. You better come in. I'll see you Wednesday. I got extra, of course. Let's see here. What's next? We got Danger Street, a new Tom King, just as one's beginning to end. He has a new one coming out. It's got that Jorge Forney on artwork, Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics on color. And that's the only time I talk about colorists, unless I'm going to deride them. Dave Stewart's really good, but he's not really from the Eurythmics. But when Virgin had a comic book line that had, who's that guy that Grant Morrison hangs out with? Not like, oh Jesus. All I can come up with is Ravi Shankar. Can't think of the other dude's name right now. Anyhow, the smart guy. Anyway, that company was all in on Dave Stewart's comic book that he wrote. Can't remember what it was. I should get off this one as I continue to dig a deep hole. But Tom King, everybody, you either love him or you hate him. This one is interesting because there's a lot of people that don't get used that are being brought up in this book. I actually think the old timers that come in the store should definitely get this. If they've been, it's like, what kind of old timer? Maybe an old timer that liked Marvel comic books, and maybe they had a little bit of an inkling to get over on DC. But definitely old time DC people. If you want to see characters you're not fully familiar with doing things that you don't care if they're doing them, because that's what Tom King specializes in, kind of reimagining, if you will, but it's always like the same reimagining, but just in different ways. I think this is going to piss less people off. Definitely as the 70-year-olds continue to die off, then it will be okay. Anyway, for people that aren't like, this one's the one to check out. Just check this one out. I've already I've done a cursory glance of it, and it's one that I'm looking forward to. Kal-El, Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 18. This is the last issue of the Superman, Son of Kal-El series. I have not read it yet. It is the end of the whole Action Comics Superman, Action Comics Superman, Action Comics Superman story called Kal-El Returns. He's returning from Warworld if you haven't been reading Action Comics. And if you have, then you're forced to read this. The important thing to know is, and this is to all my readers that read this character, especially after the fact you found out that he was bisexual. This book is ending, but the character is going to continue on into the Action Comics series, which is going to feature multiple characters within the Superman family, whether it's Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen. We could even have a Perry White story. But John Kent's definitely going to keep going on. It's not the same. But Cry Me a River. In the meantime, he's also going to get a miniseries that follows this one up. Probably the issues that would have been like 19 to 24. But you get a little bit of a bump when you do a brand new number one. You get multiple covers. And then it looks like a hit yet again for Tom Taylor. That's kind of a negative thing to say. Nonetheless, the last issue is coming out. And for all of you future speculators out there, the last issues are usually the ones that are the most underprinted as they're rolling along. So this is definitely one to pay attention to. You know what? The LGBTQ community ain't going anywhere. And get that straight. So you might want this, speculators. Here's a comic you're not going to want. A brand new #1 for Invincible Iron Man. This is like the 9th or 10th volume. I'm joking, though. I actually read it, and I'm going to give you my real quick review. Very good art by Juan Frigeri. It looked really good throughout. And everything is written as if Iron Man's writing an autobiography, or Tony Stark is writing an autobiography, as he's also going about being Iron Man. So I forgive it for being what I don't normally like in comics, which are those captions that tell you what's going on instead of showing me what's going on. This is a comic book, and the thing that is different from a book is that you don't need to tell me nothing. And if everything you're telling me is not in the comic book, then it's superfluous, or something that he could be telling somebody. So, do something different. Have the conversations that he has as Tony Stark, never on page, but always while Iron Man is fighting. Ooh, that's interesting. And then even within those panels, when Iron Man is yelling at whoever he's punching in the head or repulsor beaming, they can have another dialogue. And that would be like all the, it looks technical jargon. Only do Iron Man talking to somebody on like really big paneled pages, and never when Tony Stark is trying to tell us something. Which should be Tony Stark actually talking to somebody off page. That's how I would do stuff like that. Be creative. This is not creative, but it's better than normal. And so is this Iron Man. Better than normal, because holy shit, that last one, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking it up, but really? You liked it? Come on. I see these same people that love the Bronze Age, Silver Age comics, and you're saying it wasn't a grown-up Iron Man. It was stupid. It felt like me in my late 20s still acting like a teenager. It's pathetic is what it was. And the Dan Slott stuff, although I liked it, I know everybody else hated it, and we'll get into Dan Slott in a second. Oh yeah, so buy this Iron Man. It's got multiple covers. It was pretty good though. I like Jerry Dugan. Of all the people that have stuck around, I like him probably the best. Person who's stuck around, I'm not the biggest fan of, Greg Pak. He was allowed to take Hulk out into space, where he could have Hulk do anything he wants, and he was just ripping the shit out of people, and in his own personal war world, Planet Hulk. And eventually him and his contestants that always have to fight either with or against each other rose up, and Planet Hulk's planet got blown up. But this is like 1,000 years in the future, and we've got Greg Pak's pet project, the smartest kid in the world that isn't Moon Girl or all the other people that have come afterwards. Totally awesome Hulk. What's his name? Can't remember because I can't stand him. It's a pretty good story though. I haven't read this issue, but the first issue was fun, and if you like Hulk smash type stuff, I hope it comes to me. Let me look in comments. A new #1. Hell yeah, a new #1. Speaking of a new series, we've got the Wildcats. This is the Wildcats real introduction into the DC universe. They half-assed it in a number of ways during the New 52. But since the New 52 was jumbled anyway, we got Rebirth. And now we got some sort of DC where anything can happen. But the DC that's happening right now, that we all accept, is the one where the Wildcats are going up against. Look, it's the Court of Owls and Talon and all that stuff. Green Arrow, Nightwing. This is a good, solid second issue. I heard it's only a mini series, which is very disappointing. You see, it says limited series up here, but I don't remember the first issue saying that. So I hope it's one that is kind of like Swamp Thing. They're like, let's just go. Because Rosenberg does the action style stuff. It's very reminiscent of the 90s story, but it's also somewhat reminiscent of the Joe Casey stuff. And it's trying to marry all the different versions of Wildcats that's been out there. I enjoy it, and there's more Jim Lee creations that get shown up in the at the end of the book. So I recommend it. Wildcats. And if it is going to just be a mini series, you don't have to invest too much time or money. Also, the 30th anniversary Wildstorm came out last week, and I still have a few of those, so definitely one you should pick up. I know it's a $9 book and all, but it's worth it. Dark Crisis Big Bang, written by DC's brand new hot writer Mark Waid with Dan Jurgensen. Is that Norm Ratman? Oh my gosh. Crazy. As we slowly roll along to the last issue of Dark Crisis, we get another one-shot. I don't care if it matters. I'm not reading the issue 6 until issue 7 is about to come out. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. Nonetheless, this comes out, so pick it up. Monica Rambeau, Photon, #1. Finally, we're going to settle on a name. That's her name. She's back to being Photon. She can't be Captain Marvel because she got that taken away from her. That was Carol Danvers was Ms. Marvel, but she became Captain Marvel. And Kamala Khan became Ms. Marvel. I got to take a drink for this. Hold on. Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel became Spectrum or Photon, and then she became Spectrum, and then I think she became something else. And now she's Photon again. Will this miniseries hit? I doubt it. To all you people that are out there talking about representation, and I'm not talking about the people that make a big deal about it now. I'm talking about all the people that argue for it back in the day. We were inclusive. We liked women. We had ones that were of color, and on and on and on. Well, they always bring up Monica Rambeau. So here's your chance. And I know Al Ewing blocked you, even though you never talked to him or said word one about him. Doesn't matter. This is your chance. I dare you. And for all you people that are into it now, I dare you. Because it's on the shelf with multiple covers. Speaking of multiple covers, we've got Nightclub #1, Mark Miller and Juanan Ramirez. Juanan Ramirez just did Genesis, the Peter David Marvel, Captain Marvel, like the one from the aughts, the 2000 and aughts. Good art, all about vampire kids. The important thing is that Mark Miller is writing it. It's going to look good. It just might be a Netflix series. It comes out from Image. And it only costs $1.99. Holy cow. This has multiple covers, so buy it now. Well, tomorrow. No, it should be really good. I'm looking forward to it. I have it set aside right here, but I haven't read it yet. A Vicious Circle. That was hard to say. A Vicious Circle. Mattson Tomlin. I can't remember who the hell Mattson Tomlin is, and I didn't look it up. I'm sorry. I think the selling point is the fact that Lee Bermejo is doing the illustrations. So Fantinium Wake Up, I'm also throwing that in your pile. And there's a variant cover that only you are going to get. How's that? I'll allow you to purchase that from me. A Vicious Circle coming out tomorrow. All right. Opus is the company. I thought they were part of like Incendium. Yeah, they are. So it's an imprint from Incendium. And they do all the Frank Frazetta books. And I'm going to turn on my camera for this one because I got four copies. Different covers. There's a Frazetta one and then that not Frazetta one right there. But there's a Panosian one also. And anybody that buys the first issue, I'm only going to have a few up on the shelf, will have a chance to win this variant cover. So there you go. All right, get my face off the screen. Next up. Oh, this is one of those Marvel Tales, those $7.99 put together books where you get a bunch of stories that are like-minded. Like when they had the Khazar one, they had the Marvel Fanfare 1 through 4, which took place in the Savage Land. Great art by Michael Golden and Paul Smith. Dave Cockrum worked on it too. These are all origins of different characters, and as you can see, it's all your favorites. So, you know, you're going to get Amazing Fantasy 15 and FF1 and stuff like that. By all your favorite creators, you know, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby. Yeah, check it out. There's a Momoko cover. Dark Web X-Men miniseries #1, 3-issue miniseries. Phil Noto cover. I'm not a fan anymore of Phil Noto. And I don't know why he's doing a cover when Rod Reis, the guy who's doing the interiors, is the illustrator that should be doing the cover also. Boo, I say. But Jerry Dugan's writing it. He writes the X-Men series. I'm expecting to like it. I just haven't read it all. I read the first few pages. Problem with these series is, you know, they kind of write them and all the real action happens at the end. Everything's like really big build-up. But hopefully with like 3 issues, this should be a pretty quick and hard-hitting one. All right, just a few more, guys. 2 more. Hell to Pay. I pushed hard on that for all you people. I wanted you to at least give it a try. I did not order as many #2s. It's all about coins from hell being sold and an organization that's trying to get their hands on them so they can't be spent anymore. We're following 2 people, a married couple, who have been given a second chance, if you will, in order to collect these coins. What we're finding out, and I think almost immediately in the first issue, was that there are other people doing the same thing. And later on, we'll explore those people also. So a bigger plot is already starting from the very first issue. But I enjoyed it. I lowered my numbers. You know, that's the way it is these days. And last but not least, I've never read Robin Hobb, but Dark Horse is putting out Assassin's Apprentice. I have fantasy fans that come into the store, and I think I know exactly the type of people that are going to be interested in this. Regardless, it's awesome when a novelist, especially a fantasy novelist, gets a chance to get their stuff adapted in a comic form. Hopefully it's done well, because, you know, sometimes adapting novels is not always the easiest thing. And with that, that's your NCBD. Yes. All right. Let me turn this back on. I read Thor. This is Torrin Gronbeck's first issue of Thor. It has Thanos in it, sort of. I mean, at least the conversation's there. The Ebony Malt. Wait, is that who it is? I forget who it is. Who's the one? Oh, Corvus Blade is in this. And you know, if you're a Hickman fan, Corvus Blade, man. I told you I read this. Told you I read the Invincible Iron Man. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Let me see. Planet Hulk. This is the Danger Street cover I chose for myself. Steve Rude. But I got plenty for y'all. And yeah, I got that Spawn Batman ready to go. Yeah, that's about it. All right. We did that. All right. Let me go to, let's see. How's your father says? Rambo, I'm anti-French, Yule. Well, so you don't eat French fry? when I I think of a movie I can't name right now. Because I'm stupid. Battle Boy, who did the cover for that Origins issue? I'm not sure who that was. It wasn't the best. I mean, it looks, maybe like Bradshaw. Yeah, it looks kind of like Bradshaw. That's my guess. What? Not a fan of Noto? So if I was starting out my comic book career and Phil Noto was the artist that was working on my book, or if I was an independent person getting my first crack and Phil Noto was on my book, I would be very, very happy. And I know it would get done. That's even better. But no, I'm not a fan. When he was new and different compared to everybody else, yeah, but I'm done with that pastel look. Show me something of real Noto. Oh, I did last week also. I'm so sorry. I've been bagging on Phil Noto over and over again. I didn't even realize. That's great. Tim Sale. Oh, poured one out for Tim Sale just there, right in my mouth. I like Tim Sale. Again, when he was doing something that was new and different, I mean, it sounds like heresy, especially since I speak so well of like John Byrne comics, but probably even Superman. You know, he felt very tired already. His Next Men was a little bit different because he was writing it. He was like all new characters, and he didn't want to read X-Men because that stuff sucked, and all this other stuff. But I blamed it on the colorist, and the colorist who was working on it was, I think, horrible. But probably like a palette John Burns or something like that. So like Next Men didn't really look so great, but you kind of blame the colorist. But then you just kind of, I'm done seeing that. He did Spider-Man Chapter 1. He did that real convoluted comic book that went backwards, and then it fed into Spider-Man. He was also doing Spider-Man at the time, and it just wasn't, the greatest anymore. And like, he had dried up. Phil Noto he dried up, and he never wrote, and he never did anything. So no, I'm not a big Noto fan. And getting like major gigs, and like even if it's an X-Men miniseries, that's more like, he's almost enough to drive me away from a comic book personally. Mark Bagley is also. There's a few like that. I always dreamed that I would have conversations with people about this on this show, but everybody likes Ron Lim. It's like people hate the very expressive people, or the obvious people that like Riley Rossmo gets shit on all the time, and in some aspects of his art, rightfully so, because he doesn't tighten it up. He doesn't make it look good all the time. But I see where he's going with it, and I'm appreciative of it, because this isn't something you get in mainstream comics. Unfortunately, he's not doing any comics I give a crap about. If he was, then you'd really hear people crying. Let's talk about the conversation that I saw people talking about. What is this about Miles Morales? What is about him being Spider-Man? So earlier this morning, and I think I saw it yesterday also, the Twitter hashtag, and you can blame Musk for this. Miles Morales is Spider-Man, or actually yesterday it was Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Now it's Miles Morales is Spider-Man. And the Miles Morales movie trailer came out. It's going to be coming out. I think it doesn't really matter. It's coming out next year. Let me just do this. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot anyway. Let me just do this. All right. So I clipped it. I shouldn't get a claim on this. It should be fast enough. The very beginning of the trailer, the first half of it, is the mother, Miles Morales' mother, talking to him. Now, I didn't see the first movie. I heard it's great, and if you're a real big fan of comic books, it really looks good. It has all the different Spider people. It has an aged up Peter Parker. In this one, I guess Peter Parker has a kid. I don't know if that's how it was last time, but he was older, I think, with a belly. I'm sure people that like Peter Parker Spider-Man were like, they can't stand seeing him this way. We'll get into that. But first, Miles Morales' mommy is talking to him.
It's just hard to see my little man not being my little boy all the time.
That's right. It's hard seeing that. She continues to have, like I said, the first half of the trailer is this way.
Making sure he's loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be.
All right, I like that. Making him feel like he belongs where he is. It's important. These are things that you want for your kids for sure. As he's like donning a fake Spider-Man costume. Continuing.
Miles! Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from.
All right. Very important. Make sure you remember where you came from. I just would rather like play it all, but breaking it up, talking about it for just a second. I think it's important because we're getting into this conversation. So earlier in the week, or last week, I don't know, maybe you don't pay attention to these type of things, but Jennifer Lawrence, is that her name? J-Law. That's what Jill tells me they're calling. Oh, did I not bring a picture of her up? I thought I did. Well, it really doesn't matter. I think you guys know who she is, right? She was one of those dudes in the X-Men. She was the blue one, so Mystique. There you go. Boom. It came out, there was this conversation that she had. I don't even know if it was new or old or anything like that. But she was reflecting on her time in the Hunger Games. And I guess, well, I don't even guess. She suggested that, it was an honor to be able to, be like the first woman to be a lead. I mean, it's like when I feel like if she put enough qualifiers, it would have made, like, you couldn't debate it. You know what I mean? But she didn't put enough qualifiers in. You know, like my show is a comic book show on YouTube on Tuesday nights at 8. That's hosted by a guy that owns a comic store that has a theme song for the comic store that runs on the beginning of the show. Ain't nobody else out there like that. First ever. Woo! You know what I mean? But she said something kind of similar to that, but even in the it wasn't her retraction, it was all her fans like defending her and all the people that can't stand incels arguing about them and all that stuff. That no, you don't. Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, she was a lead, definitely a lead in that movie. And, they named other things like, what about not movies? Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. Nobody I saw say Lindsay Wagner, Bionic Woman. So bullshit, because Lindsay Wagner, you know what I mean? On and on and on and on. All the people. I didn't see that Avengers lady, Miss Steel, or I don't know. I don't like that Avengers. I thought it was going to be Iron Man when I saw it in the TV guide. So remember where you came from, Miles Morales, because you came from Ultimate Comics. That's where you came from.
And he never lets anyone tell him that he doesn't belong there.
Yeah, and all you people that only like Peter Parker, and all you people that are like, that's not my Spider-Man, and all those people out there that don't want to purchase Miles Morales, he's here to stay. And don't you let anybody, see, that's how you do it, Perch, tell you otherwise. And you know what? This might be your third or fourth volume, a brand new number one, but we gave you thicker pages than we gave this freaking Iron Man comic book. Okay? But still an artist whose name is difficult to pronounce. Like he should be on the Iron Chef or something. Miles Morales is Spider-Man. Peter Parker is a motherfucker who's got a gut and a kid, and he can stay at home. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter, because this movie is going to exploit what people hate in comic books like crazy. And it's right here.
Who do you think you are? Really?
We are supposed to be the good guys.
We are.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. Everybody gets so up in arms about all the different characters that are Spider-Man. Like, it would be one thing if it was just Miles Morales that was a Spider-Man also. But we've got Spider-Woman and Spider-Gwen and Spider-Punk and Spider-Ninja and Spider-Man Noir and Peter Parker. And they couldn't even make Spider-Woman the Spider-Woman that was pregnant in the comic books. That looks more like Misty Knight with all the hair and everything. Come on. Can't do a little bit of fan service? Seriously? You already fucked up Peter Parker. Peter Parker isn't Spider-Man anymore. I read that one, but Miles Morales is Spider-Man. That's what the tweet was all, the hashtag. Yesterday was Peter Parker. Today is Miles Morales. Who will it be tomorrow? Who is Spider-Man? And, there were, did I not bring them up? Why would you download them and then not bring them up? Interesting. Well, I don't really need to do it. People argued the idea of the Flash. Wally West became the Flash. Okay, you're right. He did become the Flash. He became the Flash after, he was Kid Flash, so there was that. He did become the Flash after Barry Allen died in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it wasn't until like 2000 and I'm going to guesstimate 4 that Flash Rebirth happened. Then there were 2 Flashes, but the New 52 happened, and then Heroes in Crisis happened, and now the Flash series is trying to rehabilitate poor Wally West. There are a lot of Wally West fans. When I was first opening my store, this is a sad story. There's this. I'm just going to give you all the parameters. Okay. He was probably my height, buff, black guy with bald head, very gay. He loved the Teen Titans. He loved Wally West. Okay. And I quit Comic Relief, and some time went by, and I was starting to open up my store, and I saw his cousin, who's like this blind guy, but he remembered me, and I was like, hey, can you tell your cousin that I'm going to be opening a store here in the same spot? And you just find things about people and whatnot. And he died, and I'm like, what? He looked like he was in such great shape, and he's like, yeah, but you can have a good looking body, but it doesn't mean you're healthy. And he never got to see my store. It was sad. Jill says, exactly. All right, hold on. Let me go back to the beginning. Then we'll get to Jill. I used to hunt for those original Spider-Man with Ham in the box art. Oh man, ew. J-Law, you mean the first and only actress to play a female hero? Exactly. Oh yeah. Wait, what? Cat piss never clean. Cat piss, I get it. Catness, right? I'm the first Asian to post comic book covers to Instagram. Well, congratulations. Cheers. You'd think anybody from the first Instagram post would have probably been the first Asian to actually do that. Like, you couldn't have been there in ground floor, right? Or did you beta test everything? Are you a communist? Reading the whole quote, it sounded like a publisher's shill answer. Take it and move on. LOL. Yeah, for sure. But I think it kind of ties into what I'm talking about as far as the hashtag Miles is Peter Parker. This is not the only time we've seen it. Like I said, we've had the Flash situation. But even a few years ago, let me just get to this really quick so it plays out. A few years ago, when we were open as a store, partially because they were kind of killing off the X-Men as far as something that you wanted to read, Marvel was actually focusing stupidly on the Inhumans, and they were pretty much squashing the X-Men. And they said, nobody's going to admit that they're, killing their brands so that Fox will have a shitty product when they're putting out a Wolverine movie or something like that. They killed Wolverine. They said, how do we kill this guy? And they got Charles Soule, who did the Hell to Pay book. Forgive him, Father, for he has sinned. He also did a lot of the Inhumans books. He tried. Oh boy, did he try. Anyway, he kills Wolverine by encasing him in CGC adamantium. Graded 9. Oh no, that looks like too many ripples. I'm gonna give that a 4.5. And he died right there. That's how you kill Wolverine. A guy who can regenerate from his metallic skeleton. He died. Taking his place is his clone, X-23. Call her X-23 no more. Call her Wolverine. And all of a sudden, we start not heeding what Miles Morales' mother wants us to heed, where he came from. At the same time, he has to exist. So how are we gonna, like, you know, we couldn't get rid of the frickin' Justice Society. Those are characters from before the characters we don't want gone. It's a shame. It's hard to make brand new characters, and a lot of times right now in comic books we're not making new characters, but what we're doing is just extending something that's already been created. When we were exploiting people, even though people right now are getting really, really horrible pay, some people from major companies are getting paid months after the fact, and they've been complaining about it. Um, it's less likely that you want to give too much intellectual property to a conglomerate that's just going to take it and not reward you. Even as you're making it, they're not rewarding you. Peter David needs to take out a GoFundMe. They need to do a GoFundMe for him. Other people have to do the same thing. Comic books isn't easy in any shape, way, shape, or form. You know, we see the Todd McFarlanes, and it's not unlike our politicians and all the other, you know, the actors and the sports people. They're making a ton of money, but it's only a few of them. I mean, really doing it. It's just, you know, the bottom feeders look a whole lot better than what normally the rest of us are looking at. But they're still bottom feeders, and you got to realize it that way. To paraphrase the baby boomers' parents in the 60s, this generation thinks it invented female action heroes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had Barbarella back in the day. It was a different type, of course, of movie. And even action. You know, the thing is that in that Danger comic book I was telling you about, that Tom King's doing. Let me see if I can find it. Danger Street. One of the characters, so he's using a lot of Kirby characters, but another character he's using is from the DC first issue series. Every month it was a new first issue. That's where Warlord comes from, Mike Grell. But one of the characters, and he's in this also, but so is Lady Cop. And there was a Lady Cop first issue. I think it's, you know, oh, and that's another thing. Angie Dickinson. What was the name of that program? I mean, I remember Angie Dickinson. Holy shit. Let me see here. The Inhumans are a category with the Eternals, characters who have been here forever and no amount of creative talent can make them popular. 100% agree. Neil Gaiman did the Eternals. If you want, so here's the Eternals to get. Here you go, everybody. Cartoonist kayfabe style. It's on the internet. Yule's telling you. Here you go. Pen and paper. Get this down. You want to get a Chuck Austin book. This is the one you're going to get. You're going to get it, and it's going to have art by Kev Walker. It's an Eternals miniseries. It was a Marvel Max, and the old timers hated it. They're like, oh. Even though everybody always goes, oh, to all the Eternals stuff. Highly recommended. It'll make you understand in a different way what the Eternals could be, and I think it's really well done. Great art, super great art. Let's see. Spider-Man is a flagship, so Sony knows Marvel can't ruin Spider-Man on purpose. Oh yeah. Unlike the X-Men. Well, Spider-Man's Spider-Man. They tried their best. You know, they've Ben Riley'd it. I'm not sure if that was the exact reason why they might have done it at the time, but they've done some really horrible things to Spider-Man. It's funny that Dan Slott got involved because a lot of people can't stand Dan Slott's. Did I not bring that up also? Jeez, guys, I thought I got it all together, but I didn't do the last thing I needed to do. Let me see. It says Slott. Here we go. He comes out and he says, Joe Corallo follows him, by the way, friend of the show. I don't even know why this comes up in my feed. Oh, I was looking for Miles Morales stuff. Have seen multiple comments today about how I must somehow be upset because I married Peter Parker in Across the Spider-Verse. My eyes cannot roll hard enough. You guys know I wrote these, right? I love every version of Spider-Man. Sure, because you wrote all sorts of Spider-Mans that weren't even Spider-Man. Doc Ock was Spider-Man. You did the husband with a woman that he's not even married to in the regular continuity Spider-Man. You write Spider-Man. I actually like Dan Slott's stuff. I'm arguing for the people that don't like Dan Slott's stuff right now. I thought it was really cool seeing Doc Ock be Spider-Man. There were some really funny moments. I think a lot of the things that people say about Dan Slott is true. As far as like it affecting his writing. But I think ultimately he's definitely the guy I have the most Spider-Man stuff of. Probably the most stuff I have, even more than Chris Claremont, because it was a different time back then. You didn't do twice a month all year long. Dan Slott's Spider-Man is great, but I don't care about this renew your vows stuff. That doesn't do it for me. It was a waste of Ryan Stegman being on the book. He should have been on the main title. Good friend of mine who doesn't agree with me on a lot of things. Can't stand Dan Slott. And another good friend of mine. We can't agree on all sorts of stuff. We both like Dan Slott on Spider-Man. The other people, it's whatever. But Dan Slott adding fuel to the fire is like ridiculous because I think the way there is a thing about if you have too much of the same thing, it's like AEW, going back to wrestling guys. It's like AEW. It's like comic books with events. AEW was having crazy match after crazy match after crazy match. This week if we don't have a brand new crazy match to show you, we got a name of a show because it's going to be centered around this thing, or we're going to do this, or now we're going to have a crazy match, and now we're going to do this, and now we're going to have a crazy match, and it's going to be the battle of the things where all the things are going to thing, and it's like it's all the time. And if it's not that, someone's bleeding in the first 5 minutes, too much. And the Spider-Man stuff is too much, some would say. I hope they got to nix it. They got to figure it out. I really feel that Marvel needs a reset. And in that reset, I think they should really, really, really consider all the excess baggage and who the person should be going forward. And maybe, just maybe, Miles Morales actually is the Spider-Man of the future. But right now, I don't think they've put their best foot forward at Marvel to make that the case. Meanwhile, all the heavy lifting is being done over at Sony, and they can't replicate it at Marvel. I haven't read this first issue yet. Cody Ziegler is a Hollywood guy. He did work on She-Hulk. I did actually enjoy his Spider-Mans when Ben Reilly was the main guy recently. I'm hoping this is good. I heard it was a good little story, but nothing really special. The art does look good. And the paper, you can almost shoot a bullet through this. Well, maybe not, but 2 of these maybe. So buy 2. It's sold out. I can only get you a blank cover. So if you want one, let me know. Slot says his numbers say otherwise, and if you go to the Perch channel, you can find one of the videos where he does the Perch or does the sales for the Dan Slot series. Dan Slot has been helped by a number of things. Longevity helps. And I really think that we're short-sighted when we restart series, and we don't realize that there is actual harm being done. We just get called old when we say we want a longer running series. But a longer running series means that, some time and effort and reinvigoration, or at least thought, has been put through, and they want to continue it. I don't need another Batman book. Rob Liefeld was on Twitter today saying, my Christmas wish is that there will be a new Legion series. There will be a new this series, all DC. And I'm like, how about a new Batman, 4 new Batman series instead? Because that's what it's going to be. His numbers are good, but they are a little bit inflated. He had Superior Spider-Man's the #1 issue. All the while, each time there's 100 issue, he's getting it, even though he isn't doing anything consecutively. So it's the 700th issue. It's the 800th issue. He did the 500th issue. He did the 600th issue. Maybe not the 500th. The 600th one, the first Doc Ock one. It's like there's a long thread with Doc Ock, and then he goes to Superior Spider-Man, brand new #1. Took that for 30-something issues. Brand new Spider-Man, the one that Delph is reading because of the Alex Ross covers, 1 through something like that, 18 or 20. Brand new #1 going forward to the end. He gets a 700th issue and a 701st issue, and the series, Nick Spencer takes over. Nick Spencer. Only Eternals comic I liked was the one issue of their failed New Eternals Apocalypse Now. And that was only because I'm a huge Apocalypse fanboy, Lithidor says. I don't remember that. I'm not an Eternals guy, though, so I can imagine not remembering it. But I'm color me interested. What do you guys think? Miles Morales, Spider-Man of the future? Or just get rid of him altogether? Is there room in the New York, the Spider-Man universe, #1 for all the Spider-Man characters, but especially Miles Morales and Peter Parker? Can Miles Morales grow with Peter Parker still in the same U? Like, he felt so much more important when he was in the Ultimate Universe. But then they try to include him in the Ultimate Universe, and that's where Kitty Pryde was his girlfriend. That's interesting. They do that now with Spider-Gwen. That's cool. Spider-Gwen's not even from our universe, obviously. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Here's my I got one last thing to tell you. This is let me do this song real first, so you guys know. All right, let me take that other banner down. It's almost the end of the show, everybody. But first, I want to thank everybody that's a patrons of ours. Until the 24th, which we'll be open for. Should I be open later or just close normal at 5? I'll stick open. I'll stick around. How's that? And if anybody wants to have some eggnog after hours, I'll be open for sales also for those last minute Christmas gifts. And eggnog is not eggnog because that's disgusting, but I'll have some alcohol. But my husband / boyfriend / girlfriend / wife / partner / son, teenage and above, daughter teenage and above. Let's say like 15 and above, 17 and above. They've read everything, or they don't know anything. Do they like anything? Well, if they do, have I got something for you, but only one copy. So you got to come in and get it. This will make a very great present for someone. If a person of yours is interested in something that is not mainstream, is not normal art fare, not necessarily normal story style, definitely black and white, I recommend to you Disciples by Benjamin Mora and Friends. Let me get that up for you. See, I did get this one done. Ba-doom. A young woman is absconded with her friend, kidnapped, if you will, goes missing. And then she returns. And many, many years later occur. And she has a family. And what took her away comes back to give her another whack, if you will, at what what occurred back then. I don't want to really give it away. It's a horror book for sure. It's a little it's creepy. It's it's thoughtful, and the artwork is really cool, especially if you like Benjamin Mara's stuff. So, like I said, if you are interested, well, not you, because this is Yule's presence for other people. Maybe I should put for other people. Yule's presence. And I present this to you. This is something for you to purchase for somebody that might not have got it for themselves. And you could probably guarantee, especially if they're the type of person that hasn't left the house, know that they didn't get this book. Unless they always get everything like this. And then, I would suggest people that are a fan of Preacher, so Garth Ennis, possibly Sandman, especially the Doll's House storyline. Nothing's more awesome than the Serial Convention. Highly recommended. Which is, an obvious present. So I don't need to really talk about that. Y'all know Sandman, don't you? You know about the Serial Convention, right? Next week, I'm going to try and do a real Mother's Basement review of Ronin #1. Because probably next week, Yule's Presents will be Ronin #1. Nonetheless, Disciples by Benjamin Mara is a really cool book. I really enjoyed it. I was enthralled and didn't want to put it down, but it still only took me 2 days to read it, just because I put it down. Really cool. I like his work. I have an independent Dungeons and Dragons screen, that a dungeon master would use to separate his roles from the players, so you can fudge. And he does like a really cool landscape, and it has all these different like monsters and even like a sci-fi guy on it and stuff like that. They're all ripped and muscled in his style. Really cool. And Disciples. I have one copy. If you're not a customer of Fantastic Comics and don't want me to ship this book to you, because I understand, you got Amazon Prime. Get it from Do It. Your friend, your family member. It'll look good on the bookshelf. It's a Fantagraphics book, so they can't gripe. Fantagraphics, especially if they're not reading Marvel and DC. If they like Spain Rodriguez from like the 70s, if they're like an underground comic fan, this is the book to get. It's just not underground, it's Fantagraphics. But your Marvel and DC slobs don't know them. And like I said, thank you to all my patrons. I know Tater Tot's up and not here anymore, so we'll just point and laugh at you. No, I'm just joking. Thank you for all your service. We don't say that we're going to actually put anything specifically up on Patreon for you, but there are things that are specifically there. Not all of them are as time sensitive as like Thoughts. Have a couple interviews. Check it out. It is a paywall. You don't have to put much in, and you can be recurring. If you enjoy this show, give us a thumbs up and maybe think about dropping a $3.99. I'm not Mark Miller. I need more money. So $3.99. And with that, I'm going to end this show like this.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish food complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.
It's late. I should probably just go home.
I had no idea. Hey, Jerry! Look what I got!